For a long time, Venus and Earth were considered twins, since they are similar in size and are in close proximity to each other. Welcome to the Techno channel. And today you will learn interesting facts about the hottest planet of the solar system and Venus. Venus is one of the planets invisible to the naked eye. It is the second brightest object in the night sky after the Moon. Therefore, it is impossible to say when the discovery of Venus took place. And who discovered it first? With a telescope, even a small one, you can easily notice and track the shift of the visible phase of the planet's disk. They were first observed in 1610 by Galileo. The atmosphere was first discovered by Mikhail Vasilyevich Lomonosov on June 6, 1761, when the planet passed through the disk of the Sun. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Its diameter is only 600 kilometers smaller than Earth's and is 12,104 kilometers, and the gravity is almost the same as on our planet. A kilogram weight on Venus will weigh 850 grams. Thus, Venus is very close to Earth in size by gravity and composition. But this is where the main similarities end. Unlike Earth, Venus does not have a single satellite. It may have had satellites in the past, but they either moved away from the planet or crashed on its surface. A significant part of the planet's surface is geologically young, about 500 million years old. 90% is covered with frozen basalt lava. Venus rotates around its axis in the direction opposite to the direction of the other planets of the solar system, from east to west. This is how only one other planet in our system behaves, Uranus. One rotation around the axis on Venus is 243 Earth days, but the Venusian year takes only 225 Earth days. It turns out that the day lasts more than a year. There is a change of day and night on the planet, but the change of seasons does not happen. The closest distance from Earth to Venus is 38 million kilometers, and the furthest is 261 million kilometers. For comparison, the minimum distance from Earth to Mars is 56 million kilometers. Thus, Venus is the closest planet to us. The atmosphere of Venus consists mainly of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. Atmospheric pressure reaches extreme values. It is 92 times higher than the pressure at sea level on Earth. In other words, the pressure on Venus is about the same as the pressure of water at a depth of about 1 kilometer. It is so large that carbon dioxide itself is pressed into the surface and acquires an exotic state of a supercritical liquid, which is neither a gas nor a liquid, but has the properties of both. Due to the fact that most of the atmosphere on Venus consists of carbon dioxide, the greenhouse effect greatly heats its surface. The temperature can reach 470 degrees Celsius. The planet is hot enough to melt lead. The maximum duration of the automatic interplanetary station on the surface of Venus was only 127 minutes. It was the USSR station Venera 13. But, remarkably, she also made the first sound recording on the surface and the first transmission of a color panoramic image of Venus. Winds at the level of the upper boundary of clouds reach speeds of approximately 360 to 380 kilometers per hour, but winds near the surface of Venus are much slower and have a speed of only a few kilometers per hour. However, due to the high density of the atmosphere at the surface, this is quite enough to transfer dust and small stones over the entire surface like a slow flow of water. The clouds of Venus are quite dense and consist of sulfur dioxide and sulfuric acid droplets. They reflect about 75% of the incident sunlight and hide the surface of the planet, preventing its observation. The acid rain of Venus never reaches the surface of the planet, but evaporates from the heat, forming a phenomenon known as virga. It is assumed that sulfur entered the atmosphere as a result of volcanic activity, and the high temperature prevented the binding of sulfur into a solid compound on the surface. The clouds of Venus are capable of creating lightning as well as clouds on Earth. Data on the structure of clouds and the geology of the surface, combined with the theoretical conclusion that the luminosity of the Sun has increased by 25% over the past 38 billion years, indicate that 4 billion years ago the atmosphere of Venus was more like that of Earth, and there was liquid water on the surface of the planet. When it was discovered that the conditions on the surface of Venus were very unfavorable, the attention of scientists shifted to other targets, such as Mars. But despite the extreme conditions on the surface of the planet at an altitude of 50 kilometers, atmospheric pressure and temperature are almost the same as on the surface of the Earth. At the same time, The atmosphere is sufficient to provide protection from radiation comparable to the screen that we receive from the atmosphere on Earth. The temperature, oddly enough, is also approaching a comfortable one, about 60 degrees Celsius. It's hot, yes, but our technologies allow us to cope with it, and if we climb another couple of kilometers, the temperature will drop to 30 degrees. At the same time, the atmosphere will not lose protection from radiation, and since the gravity of Venus is almost the same as Earth, the supposed colonists living there for years will not acquire fragile bones and weak muscles. But how to stay afloat in a suffocating atmosphere? The solution is surprisingly simple. Carbon dioxide is heavier than air on Earth. A balloon on Venus filled with an earthly mixture of nitrogen and oxygen will be lighter than Venusian air. Fill a Venusian balloon with terrestrial air and it will fly through the sky like a helium balloon. It turns out that for life on Venus it will be necessary to fill a balloon with nitrogen and oxygen, but also to live inside the balloon. According to some reports, a spherical ball with a diameter of 1 kilometer will be able to lift 700,000 tons, and to protect against sulfuric acid, the outer layer of these balls must be covered with simple Teflon. Although the amazing cities in the clouds of Venus are still the fantasies of scientists, the creation of such a small observatory for further study of Venus against the background of the proposed Martian mission looks quite likely in the next hundreds of years. Venus is an amazing planet that hides many mysteries. Perhaps we should go back to studying it, but what do you think? That's all, friends. If you have learned something new, and be sure to share this video, as well as do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you all, bye.